Welcome to We Should Start a Podcast, the only podcast within a podcast. Each week we'll attempt to create the next hit audio show as we pitch our brightest ideas for pods about anything and everything. But more often than not, pretty much nothing. I am your host, Podmaster and Commander Dino, and joining me as always are my good friends, Podmaster Chief Danderz, and Davey Hogan is here too, still emphatically bringing up the rear. Let's get into it.
We should start a podcast.
Welcome back.
Did you not do that on purpose?
I interrupted myself. I kind of forgot I pressed it and it lagged so long. Anyways, welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast. The only podcast to ever record on a Monday. No one is putting in as much work as us boys, am I right?
You said it.
Today, I said it. I definitely did said it. And the person who said that is your host for today, Dino. And joining me on the pod, as usual, is my boy Danderz.
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
Very well, very well. It's lovely and sunny here now, so can't complain. It's Monday, as you say.
Oh, nice.
It's a bank holiday Monday for you guys. It's a normal working Monday for me, alas. But
Yeah.
We move.
What holiday is it today? It's
Victoria Day.
I don't want to date the podcast this early, but it's Victoria Day. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a BC specific holiday then.
Oh, yeah. I'd imagine so.
Wow, we're all about stat holidays on this podcast. And the person who knew it was Victoria Day is, of course, Davey Hogan. How are things going with you?
Yes, sir. Pretty good. Pretty good. Weather is shite here, to be fair, compared to at home. So, yeah, don't know what to do with that. But yeah, enjoying the long weekend. Not looking forward to work tomorrow.
You said you were you were out raving on Friday, Dave.
Yeah, man.
We recovered from
we
that.
went to see DJ Seinfeld inside in town. It was a last minute decision. We were actually at a friend's house doing
DJ Seinfeld? What's with that? For all the Gen Z listeners out there, that was Jerry Seinfeld. Also, Dave, your audio is atrocious. You're cutting in
I'm
and
glad
out.
it wasn't just me.
Oh, really? Fuck.
I can't hear you at all, Dave.
Dino, do you really think we have Gen Z listeners?
We have at least one. Violet's listening. She doesn't know what's going on at any given time.
Does she really listen out of loyalty? That's very sweet.
She does. She actually likes it. She says
sure.
it's calming. I don't think that's what we were going
Calming.
for in this podcast.
Well, it's
She says it's bad.
yeah. Badly calming.
Yeah. She also doesn't really subscribe to the same sort of comedy that we generally would. For example, we went to see that new Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd movie, Friendship, over the weekend. And she was like, oh, yeah, I thought it was interesting. And I came out being like, I gotta see that again. I gotta remember all these quotes so I can annoy you for the next year.
It was a good meta reference that you did a Tim Robinson quote as you were in the voice of Violet there with. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic.
Exactly.
Classic. Again, that's for the Gen Z listener out there, Violet.
Yeah. It is a very great movie, though, if you're into that style of like cringe, absurdist comedy.
I'm glad. I asked you how good it was, and again, you just put a Tim Robinson quote and you went, "It's wild." It is.
I suppose it is kind of just wild. I wouldn't say in terms of it being a movie as a form of art that it's good, but it's what I wanted. It's like an hour long, I think you should leave sketch.
Right. I was going to ask. Yeah. But is it just an hour? Like, is it a short film?
No, it's like an hour and a half. It's like it's a feature length film. It's a feature length film. But
because I thought
it's
maybe an
nuts.
hour of like one long sketch from I Think You Should Leave might be a bit taxing anyway. So maybe that's it might be a short film. Like, but
yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's funny in the cinema, like sitting next to people, and some people are hysterically laughing throughout the whole thing.
And
Other
their
people
girlfriends
are dead silent. And then other people have a reaction of just like cringing the entire
awkward,
thing. Just being like, oh, I can barely sit
in
through
pain.
this.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But one thing I really wanted to talk about from that Cineplex visit was this ad that came on before the movie. It's one of those kind of infomercial ads telling people to not use their phones or whatever, or don't talk in the movie. But I don't know if you've seen this one, Dave. It's probably Canada or at least North America specific. But the way they do it is they demonstrate people's bad behavior that you shouldn't be doing using only racial and gender stereotypes.
Oh my God, really?
It's so fucking funny. And I can't believe that this is what they landed on. So basically, it's like a cartoon of a full movie theater, and it's highlighting the bad behavior of each specific character sitting in the cinema. So it starts off with there's like this like young blonde lady blabbering, running her mouth throughout the movie. And it's like, oh, that's mouthy Melissa.
No way.
Yeah. And then the next one's super bad. Then it's like the next one is her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's a black guy. And they use him as an example of seat stealing.
Oh,
my
for
God,
fuck's
that's
sake.
so funny.
I can't remember what his name is, but it's probably something like, "Oh, that's Montreal misdemeanor."
Did you have that prepared, or did you have that written down too?
We won't give too much.
Is this Violet's kind of comedy? Like maybe it was like
yeah. She's
just
very racist. But then it goes on, and then there's like a non-binary character, like Sammy Scroller or something, and they just are incessantly just on their phones scrolling social media. They won't get off. And then the final one is an Asian lady who's Saki Snapper, and she won't stop
God.
taking photos in the cinema.
I love the way they thought that they were doing like representation by putting a black person, a transgender person, an Asian person, and then just playing up to every single bad stereotype of all time. Like
Exactly, just like every like classic stereotype, they're just hitting it and just like
oh my
completely on the
God.
nose.
That's wild, man. Canada, relax. That's so funny. Oh my God.
That's Mouthy Melissa.
Tell me about it.
Oh, anyways, boys, that's not what the show is about. Although we do bring up a lot of racial stereotypes on this show, we do.
But it's all subtle. It's all the nuance.
It's all subtle, yeah.
But wait, just before you carry on, Dino, sometimes we like to play a bit of an icebreaker game, and normally you're the one who
Okay.
prepares them. And like, to be fair, I've been mulling on this for quite some time because I realized pretty early on in my life that the game rock paper scissors it's like inherently flawed because first of all, there's all these issues like paper doesn't really beat rock. Paper covers rock, and then rock continues to be rock. You know what I mean? There's all these different types of scissors. There's crimping scissors. There's big kitchen scissors. So they're kind of rock beating the scissors thing. Yeah, yeah. There's scissoring. There's scissoring. So there's all kinds. So really, I just wanted to come up with something a bit more foolproof. So I'm going to pitch it to you guys today, just before we get into the main meat of the episode, and hopefully you guys will feel the same way I do about it because it's made to be foolproof. That's the whole kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just give me 1 second while I share my screen over here.
And speaking of The Rock always being The Rock, have you seen the trailer for that new movie, The Smashing Machine?
Yes, I saw the trailer. It looks good. It looks stupid, but it looks good.
It's not The Rock being The Rock
No,
anymore.
no.
It's a serious role for him.
Yeah.
He's all prosthetic up.
Which I like.
You like The Rock in prosthetics. You've always said that.
But it kind of gives me the same vibes that that movie that fucking what's your man?
Mickey Rourke, the wrestler.
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna say?
No. Oh, it's gone now. It was a wrestling movie. His name is absolutely falling on my head now.
The Iron Claw.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Zac Efron.
It gives me the same kind of vibes as that, like almost like a fake biopic, a fictional biopic, but like. Yeah.
But Zac Efron has permanently prosthetic up his face.
Oh,
He's
it's terrible.
He looks so strange.
It's terrible. He says that it was like a result of a motorbike accident when he was younger.
Sorry. I'm looking at what Danderz just pulled up on the screen now for the listeners. It seems as though today we're playing Cock Caper Lizard.
Thank you, dude. Thank you for introducing. Yeah, so like I say, I want to do something foolproof. So, I mean, obviously the cock eats the lizard, and just you know, I want to make it clear to the listeners, this is a rooster, it's a cockerel. You know, get your head out of the gutter over there. You know, so the cock eats the lizard, obviously without question. Lizard eats the caper. Dave, do you know what a caper is?
Why'd you think of me? I know what a caper is.
Okay,
Dave, have you heard of a lizard before? You dumb fuck.
Obviously, the caper chokes the cock, so, you know, I think we're all on the same page here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, cock eats the lizard eats the caper chokes the cock, okay? Mm-hmm. What I would love is if we could test run this so that I can kind of bring it to the masses. You're kind of my pilot group, you're my alpha group. So, if we can all, we might in the future pivot to like an interactive online game, and we could sort of spice it up a bit more. But we're going to do this for cock, okay? It's a finger straight up. This is cock. You can imagine why. It's cockerling. And then this is caper, just a little dot, so you're just poking. And basically, from our listeners, we've taken the upright finger and pointed it toward you, so all you can see is the little dot of the front of the index. So that's cock, that's caper, and lizard is this. Okay. You take all your hands and you do a little wiggle.
Lizard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cock, caper, lizard.
And
Okay.
tell me, Danderz, I know in the traditional rock, paper, scissors game, there's like a physical representation of how each one defeats the other one with the hand movements, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Like paper covers rock. How are we doing that? Is that something that's incorporated in this game?
Yeah, so the cock kind of gobbles toward the lizard, if you please. And the lizard kind of similarly gobbles, I'd say, but he kind of snatches, it's a snatch toward the caper. And the caper just, it's like a stabbing motion because it's like directly into the throat. So I'm sure you guys will get the hang of it quite quickly. It's pretty intuitive. So, all right. So we're going to do best of three, the old fashioned way, just as, like I say, as a pilot run, okay? So we're going to do it in the physical sense, all right? On three. Dave, you ready? Hands up. Okay. Cock, caper, lizard. All right. We've got 2 cocks and a caper. So Dino wins. Dino wins round 1.
Whoa. So am I now? Is it you two playing against each other, or
no?
am I still in this?
It's best of 3 for everyone. Okay, all rounds.
Your traditional style of playing this. I'm sure you've played this when you were a child. You do cock, caper, and you shoot on lizard, or do you do cock, caper, lizard, shoot?
Shoot on lizard. I've always shot on lizard.
You've always shot on lizard.
Do you want to shoot on 4?
We could shoot on 4, but if you always shoot on lizard, then we could shoot on lizard.
Let's shoot on 4.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we ready? Hands up. Cock, caper, lizard.
Oh shit! You said we're gonna shoot on 4.
You're right. I shot on 3. You're stuck on lizard. All right. So Dino's out of this round. Me and Dave are 1 for a piece. So we're 1 each, guys. So we're still trying to get best of 3, but really, I guess next one wins it. But if there's a sudden death, we will go again. Okay, you ready? On 4, all right?
Yeah, on the 4. We're going post lizard.
Post lizard,
okay.
Okay. Cock, caper, lizard. What do we have? We've got a cock, 2 cocks and a lizard. Lizard wins. Yeah, boy!
We have a
Danderz
winner.
is the victor. Well, thank you, guys.
It seems
thank
a
you
bit
for playing.
fishy to me that the creator of cock, caper, lizard won.
Well, look, you guys knew the rules. You knew the rules fair and square. I didn't do any fudging of numbers. Okay?
Wait a second. Does the cock not eat the lizard? The lizard.
Yeah. Oh, maybe you. I don't think you guys. I
JK.
literally fudged the numbers. Oh wait, that means Dino wins because Dave, you won that. You even won that round. No. You had 1 each. Yeah. So you both.
Yeah.
That means we get 1 more round.
Hey.
Lucky listeners. All right, guys. Give us your cock, caper, lizard. We're gonna do on 4 again. All right, you ready?
Okay, yeah.
Cock, caper, lizard, shoot. And 2 lizards, gotta go again. All right, you ready? Cock, caper, lizard, shoot. What do we got over here?
lizard.
Caper versus who wins? Caper versus lizard.
Caper gets eaten by lizard, if I recall. Is that right? Yeah. Like I say, it's foolproof, so at least we all know where we stand. There's no more of this confusion as there always was in the old game. Everyone's like, wait a minute, what? I thought paper beat rock. Doesn't make any sense, guys. What the fuck? Rock is strong. Paper is not. You know what I mean? Dumb. This way, everyone knows where they stand. So Dave's the victor of this episode. Dave, you are Mr. Cock, Caper, Lizard today, and I thank you for your service. So, I think...
Wow.
All right, back to Dino's fabulous hosting. Thank you, sir.
I think that's about all we have time for today, unfortunately. That stumped me. We talk about a lot of dumb shit on this show, but that has stumped me.
Now you know how we feel after two roots and a slide.
2 roots and a slide. I had one planned for today, but I'm glad I didn't do it in the end because I think that was a bit better. Anyways, we are not here just to play cock, caper, lizard, although I think that would be a great podcast. What we are really here for is trying to start a hit podcast, which could actually be Cock, Caper, Lizard now that I'm thinking of it. We want to go number 1 in all the charts, but we do not have the perfect podcast idea. So this show is a sort of placeholder where we are pitching podcast ideas with the hopes of striking gold. We've had some bangers, but we still haven't found the right show, so we will continue to pitch and pod. Is that correct, boys?
Correct.
Correctamundo.
And we're also coming up with some great icebreaker games. Well, not coming up with. We all played these when we were children.
Yeah.
We all remember Cock, Caper, Lizard,
It's the classic.
Would You Lather, Kneel or No Kneel. The list goes on.
Kneel or no kneel.
And with that, we are now ready to hear from our Podmaster of the Week, Podmaster Chief Danderz. To remind everyone how this works, Danderz will be pitching his latest podcast idea, taking us through a complete trial episode. Following the podcast within a podcast, colloquially known as a podception, we will collectively critique Danderz's show based on a classic podcast rating system. But before Danderz pitches, I am legally obligated to remind all the podgoblins out there that WSSAP never do any research as to whether these podcast ideas exist in the real world, so by accessing the content of this podcast, including information presented, opinions expressed, and creative elements, you're hereby forfeiting rights to any intellectual property you may already hold in relation to your podcast. And Cineplex, I know we talked about your advert up top, but WSSAP are taking no responsibility for that content. We're going to make a rare exception. Cineplex, you can keep your IP in this case. I repeat, WSSAP cannot be held accountable for the views and opinions expressed by the Cineplex Entertainment Company.
No Mouthy Melissa here.
No Matthew Melissa.
Okay.
Delinquent Aquarius. Danderz, please introduce us to your latest podcast idea. What do you have for us today?
Okay, so today we're running the National ID pod, or National ID for short. Do you guys have any ideas what it's about?
NIDPod.
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 National ID. Are we pitching new racial stereotypes for Cineplex to use in future ad campaigns?
Yes. We're a few light. We already have Asian, black and white, and trans. So you can come up with a Hispanic one for me today. No, that's not quite it. Dave, do you have any guesses?
Are we looking at our old Garda IDs from when we were 16, 17?
It's not a bad guess. It's not a bad shout. I'm afraid you're both a little off-piste on this one. So we're gonna... I guess you guys will find out. You guys will find out in a mo.
I hope so.
I hope so as well.
Completely on the fly. So, fellas, and for all the listeners out there, this week we are diving into the world of National ID.
Bonjour, eh? Happy Canada Day! Yes, in honor of my two Vancouver Ionian friends and co-hosts, today we're celebrating Canada Day. It's 1st of July and we're feeling spry. I wish I'd remembered this whole bit when we were telling everyone that it was
The exact date that it was. Yeah, we were like
I should have
honing in
told
on
you
exactly
guys.
the time that it was.
But yes, we happen to have spotted the trend that some of you might have if you listened to our Paddy's Day special, that it was in fact released in May. So we're trying to get ahead of the game here, get one out in time. So happy Canada Day, guys. Yes, the sticky maple flag's at full mast. The smell of suckling pig is drifting from the spit roast. And we're ready to guzzle down some sloppy moose head. It's Canada Day. It's Canada Day. Don't make me say it again because it ain't actually Canada Day. How are you feeling this festive 1st of July, David?
Patriotic.
Yeah.
I'm actually very impressed. This is the first time we're probably going to get a podcast out on the day
Please God.
that we're actually doing it for.
You're forgetting about the official list.
The official list was...
Oh,
We had
yeah, that
on
was
Christmas Day.
Christmas.
And we had
My
I'm pretty
apologies.
sure we had the Halloween ones out in time in October as
Well,
well.
the thing
Did we?
we'd intended 4. We were lucky with the Halloween ones because we planned to do 4, like 1 per week, and what ended up happening was we did like 1, maybe 2, and then like the scale slid, as it were. But we luckily already had a Halloween one in the hopper, so we were blessed with
true.
that. Blessed with that.
But it's not Halloween today.
It's not Halloween. It's Canada Day, obviously. Plenty of Canadian merriment to be had. And I guess before we get back to merriment, I did have something else I wanted to share with you guys.
Though before you get into that, Danderz, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable with the thought of sloppy moose head.
I mean, that's just the way Moosehead goes. I don't have much
Okay.
control over that. But,
Interesting.
All right. Okay. So, because of the nature of MS Teams, where you can only share like a full screen, I'm just gonna have to share this with you, and then I'm gonna have to flash back to my script really quickly. So you'll only get a flash, but once you see it, I think you'll be sufficiently pleased. Okay.
We're also not using MS Teams.
No, we're not.
I was like, shit,
Yeah,
am I on the wrong call?
Try to avoid some licensing issues by actually calling. So what are we on? Google Meet.
Google.
Okay, so here you go, guys. Have a little read, and then I'm gonna flash back to my script.
Let's see here. 1 poutine or 1...
1 poutine.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Amount 1 from Danderz.
I owe you 1 poutine or 1 poutine.
And Danderz's email holder is russ@birdfuck.com.
That is an IP infringement.
Yeah.
So let's. Okay, wait. Let me get back to my
So,
careful
wait, that was a
script.
voucher? So you...
I am going to email one of these to each of you guys. It all comes up in the upcoming
Okay,
paragraph. Don't
okay.
worry about it, okay? Okay, these vouchers are 100% verified, legit vouchers, no scam. I have one of these for each of you, and I will email them to you both after the show to hold on to and claim at a time of your convenience whenever we are in person together. Good for either 1 poutine or 1 poutine, the 2 national dishes of the 2 great nations represented on this here podcast. Ireland, the spiritual home of this here group. It's where we all met, where our parents still live, and Canada is currently the de facto day-to-day home of 66% of the squaw. This voucher has nothing to do with the phonetic similarities between the 2 words, and that has confused many a traveller and expat alike, and everything to do with national identity and delicious vibes. If any of our listeners are unversed in either cuisine, poutine is a Canadian fast food special consisting of chips, cheese curds, and gravy, while poutine, the Irish moonshine, is a high-strength alcoholic spirit historically distilled from potatoes.
I've never had poutine.
So come... I don't think I have. But I'm going to make it for you.
Both die.
I'm just going to grind up some potatoes and make
Yeah.
alcohol. Okay, so come claim your cheesy chips gravy or potato vodka anytime that suits you, boys. When we're in person, I will, if you're on for a poutine, I will transfer you money for it, but it kind of defeats the purpose of the giving spirit. So I would prefer to give it to you in person, if that pleased the court, milady. On with the show. Jennifer Welsh, a professor of international relations at the University of Oxford, had this to say about Canada Day. Canada Day, like the country, is endlessly decentralized. There doesn't seem to be a central recipe for how to celebrate. Chalk it up to the nature of the federation. So, as Canada itself can be considered a sloppy melting pot of cultures, and in the same vein, we 3 are a bit of a cultural cocktail ourselves, today, we're not just celebrating Canada, we're celebrating freedom and national identity all over the world. Woo! It's National Identity Day. It's National Independence Day. 3 cheers for national sovereignty. Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip,
Dave,
hip.
come on.
Okay, that's good. Okay, come on.
Dave hates
I'm in.
national
I hooray.
identity.
All right. Okay, it's time for our first segment, which is called Who Am I? Speaking on national identity, we know that it also significantly shapes an individual's sense of personal identity by informing values, beliefs, and providing a framework for understanding one's place in the world. Though we all grew up within a short distance of each other, we 3 all have different backstories when it comes to our national identities. So I want each of you to take a minute to talk about your own cultural identity, and in turn, how you feel this has influenced your sense of self. So Dave, starting with you, tell us a bit about your background and how you think it's shaped your sense of self.
I suppose moving to Canada really fucking made me feel a lot more patriotic about being from Ireland. When you're in your home, you never really feel it as much, but when you move abroad, you feel it a lot stronger, especially when you're surrounded by many different cultures and nationalities. You feel like yours is more prominent within yourself, I suppose.
You feel like yours is kind of like the best one.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
So yeah, like when you're at home, you just feel like a lad, but then you feel acutely Irish when you're
exactly.
over shores. Is that what you're saying?
It's like, I don't know, you feel like you want to exercise it more, you want to like portray it more to other people, how Irish you are. Like lately I've been wanting to try and relearn Gaeilge a bit. I'm trying to fucking speak some Gaeilge around the house. As well as that, like I've tattooed loads of tattoos in mind to get, but I want to get the outline of Ireland in the back of my tricep is the next one I'm probably gonna get. Like just loads of little things like that kind of I would never even thought of doing when I was living at home, because there was no question about my Irishness. There was no question about my patriotism. Whereas when I'm here and like I meet people on nights out or at events and stuff, and they're always asking about Irish, or do you speak Irish, or what part of Ireland are you from? And like bits and pieces, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck yeah, there's a strong background and culture there that like you take for granted when you're at home because you're in it, right? You're at home. Whereas when you're abroad, it gets a lot stronger within you, and you start to miss home as well, which means you kind of romanticize certain parts of your culture to a certain extent. When there's a lot of stuff we have at home that
Definitely.
we don't have here, like across many different types of things. Like it's yeah, but it makes it a lot stronger when you move abroad. But like even then, like myself, like we all grew up in Ireland, but like the three of us have, well, maybe not Danderz and Dino as much, but like the three, like I have a different kind of background and culture to what you guys grew up doing. Like I grew up in a proper countryside amongst proper cultures and farmers and whatnot. It was slightly different for you guys in school. So even then, like, and you guys are only what, 2 hour drive from me, and it's amazing how much diversity in culture we have in that small island. So that even then furthers the identity, kind of the want for identity, because someone who grew up an hour or two from me has a different experience of Ireland when they're talking to someone from Canada or somewhere from a different culture, and they're explaining their upbringing and their culture and nationality. It's a different kind of, it's a lot of diversity there, which I love, and it's great. And I don't think other countries have that. Like I'm not sure, and like in America you could be like in one state and you could be 5 hours from somebody else and you could have the exact same upbringing, exact same shit going on, like, you know.
Even Dave, you said 2 hours up the road, which you were, give or take, but Dino and I, from the school we were in, we could have traveled 5 miles up the road, 5 minutes up the road, and we would have had a culture, like completely different experience to the one that we had, like, and that's the thing about Ireland that a lot of people maybe don't fully grasp in North America. They might hear an Irish accent or a Cork accent or a Dublin accent, and like it all just triggers Irish in the brain, but they can't distinguish the sounds between them, whereas they're vastly different. And for such a tiny island nation, it's just an obscene amount of different like accents and different cultures within it, right? Like it's one of the things we all really love about Ireland, I think. Did you, Dave, feel that sort of enhanced sense of patriotism has anything to do with the community of Irish people over there, or is it just kind of doubling down on your roots when everyone else is? I guess you kind of said it well. It's like it kind of comes to the fore. You realize that it's different from other places, and then you love what you know, and you kind of feel a sense of sentimentality around it. Is that kind of what you think it is?
Do you know what? It strengthens it, but maybe not in a sense that you think. So like obviously, as I've mentioned, most of my friends here in Canada, we're part of a big Irish group of maybe 10 to 15 people. But like we all kind of, well, most of us came from different parts of Ireland. Like we have a friend coming from Armagh, friends from Dublin, friends from Kildare, some from Galway and stuff like that. So, and Cork. And it's like, even within our small group, there are cultural differences. There are differences in how we were brought up. Differences in little kind of stuff like, you know, what you'd have on your chips if you go to a chipper, like what kind of stuff you would have watched on TV. Like I would have watched
what they
like
call a hot
typical,
chicken roll. Do you know?
shit like that. Yeah.
What do you have on your chips, Dave?
On my chips, I like stuffing and coleslaw.
What?
Oh,
chips.
interesting.
Is that a
I actually
Kerry
haven't
thing?
even heard of stuffing and coleslaw.
Is that a Kerry thing?
It's big in Kerry and Limerick. You'd have stuffing and
okay.
coleslaw and chips. Yeah.
Wow, there you are now.
I'm a chips, cheese, garlic kind of guy.
Yeah, that's a classic.
A classic.
That's a classic
yeah.
for me as well. Dave, you do have a British parent, am I wrong?
No, you are very correct. My mother is from Birmingham, but her parents, her father is from Limerick, and her mother is from Nice in France. So
Wow.
bit of a mixed bag there. But my father's full Irish. He's all Limerick.
And do you find, like, because I think of you as very, very Irish, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners do as well, but you having such a culturally diverse mother, how do you think that's kind of impacted your upbringing, or how does it work?
It was funny, like my mom loves to remind me that like before I went to school, like for the first 4 or 5 years before we go to school, while I was talking, I sounded like mom. I had a British accent, or like an Englishy kind of accent, and then of course when I went to school, that was knocked out of me immediately.
Literally knocked out of you.
Yeah, so it was it was funny. Myself and another girl, we started around, obviously I started in one school and I was in junior and senior infants, and then I moved to a different school. So when I moved to that different school, I still kind of had the same accent because this first school I was in was posh-ish, and then I went to a proper country school, and myself and another girl started at the same time, and she was English, like she was proper English, and everyone thought we were brother and sister, obviously, because we started together and because we both kind of sounded different. We didn't sound like we grew up in a fucking farm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that influenced it. There was, do you know, it was interesting because mom gave me a lot of insight into things like what she learnt in school and the kind of the history that she would have learnt about the Irish and the English kind of conflicts and stuff like that. So what she was learning in school is completely different to what I was learning in school in terms of the history. Like we were learning about all the atrocities and the awful stuff that the English did to us throughout the 900 years or whatever. And she was learning about the victorious rule of the British Empire and how great they were, and how they brought colonization and democracy to all these underprivileged and underdeveloped countries, like as if they weren't going to develop eventually.
Opposition. It's so funny. Like I remember, like Oliver Cromwell is an absolute
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
that's like the prime example of how they teach things differently.
Like in Ireland, Oliver Cromwell is taught as a tyrannical figure who brought atrocities onto the people of Ireland. But he's portrayed as a hero in the English education system, as far as I understand. But actually, even though I'm the most British of all of us by far, I never really had much education in the UK. Like I suppose I did 4 and 5. When I was 4 and 5, I was in school in the UK, and then from 6 I spent the rest of the time going through the Irish system, apart from my masters. But Dave, I just wanted to follow up on one more thing. Do you think having that experience of having a kind of international mum, do you think that sort of made you
international spy,
international mom?
do you think that made you kind of double down on being a Kerry man and being an Irish man? Do you think that kind of made you sort of subconsciously stick your heels into your roots a bit more, or do you think that that's me fishing?
I think so. No, I think so, and I think it's funny because like every now and again this conversation will come up and it'll be a little more lowbrow than what we're discussing here. Like I'll talk about loyalists and I'll talk about what I just spoke about, the education and the misconception of what the famine was and like what the rest of the world learned about it and what we learned about it and what it actually was. And like my Emer, my fiance, loves to remind me that my mother is English and that I could have very well been a loyalist. I very well could have been a British kid, but I'm not. So I think you're right. I think it does make me kind of stick my heels in a bit more and kind of, double down on the fact that I'm a proud Fenian Irishman.
And it's funny, Dave, yes. It seems like you've had a bit of a change of heart regarding the tattoo situation, because you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but I believe last time we spoke, the next tattoo that you wanted was a full back tattoo of Al Pacino as Scarface sniffing a mountain of cocaine. Is that? I'm still
gonna get that, but I guess
the worst tattoo idea of all time, and you were so strongly for it.
Okay. Let's like it wasn't a full back tattoo, right? It was a small tattoo I was getting somewhere on my body, and it was because Scarface is my favorite movie, and I was kind of going through this phase of wanting to get my favorite shit tattooed on my body because it didn't really matter what I was getting tattooed. And I particularly like that scene because it signified the actual peak of the what goes up must come down, and it was the real hinge point in the movie. It's not my fault you're not able to fucking see that. That's not my fault. So hung up on it.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks so much. That's a great answer. But I'm really looking forward to Dina's answer as well. But I think before we do that, we'll just take a quick break and we'll be right back, guys. Thanks, Emil. Welcome back. Thanks again, Dave, for giving us a little more insight into your inner Irish workings. Now, I just would love to get Dino's take as well, because he and I both have kind of I don't know about culturally diverse, but a different background to you for sure. So, Dino, how do you reckon that your sense of national background influenced your sense of personality?
Suppose my background's a little bit more complicated. We have a few more moving parts here. So, my dad is Guyanese, from Guyana in South America, the only English-speaking South American country. Moved to Canada when he was quite young, around 9 or 10. In his 20s, I believe, met my mum, who is Irish, from Limerick as well. So, Dave, me and you might be distantly related.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. Somehow.
Yeah. I really regret kissing, if that's the case.
Kissing cousins.
So, had 3 beautiful babies, me being the baby in the middle. And I grew up in London, Ontario, Canada. So, growing up, I obviously saw myself as a Canadian person, even when I moved to Ireland around 9 or 10 for the first number of years. And actually, maybe the whole way through, still considered myself very Canadian, maybe more Canadian than Irish. because there's such big differences there. I never really lost my Canadian accent. I never really fully assimilated into a certain aspect of like the young lad culture, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that didn't really help of the school that we went to, Danderz. It wasn't your typical like lads school. It was full of Protestants, I might say. So we didn't play like the Gaelic sports. We weren't playing hurling. We weren't playing Gaelic football. We were playing rugby, and I'm going to whisper this one so not many people hear, field hockey. And you know, I suppose, like Dave said, I have never felt more Irish as I have now when I've moved back to Canada, right?
Yeah.
I think people wouldn't really consider me that Irish in Ireland. When people meet me, they tend to not think that I'm Irish straight away. First of all, they think I'm American usually, and then also gay.
Maybe you should shave off that mustache.
I look like Freddie Mercury. I look like a Canadian Irish Freddie Mercury.
I wanted to ask you because it feels like it's going to be a bit of a tenet of all of our threads of cultural identity, but I feel like potentially one of the things, I guess it's more of a statement I'd like your opinion on rather than a question, but I've always felt that maybe different to some other cultures, Ireland is quite exclusive. Like, I feel like you aren't Irish unless you're Irish, you know? Like, we were there, like, our whole lives. We went through the whole education system there. You have genuine Irish ancestry. I do, but it's like like, I think my great-granddad was Irish. So you always get these where are you from questions, you're not from around here type questions. And it's like a little microaggression, isn't it? Like, I mean, they're just trying to be thoughtful usually. They're trying to include you in whatever they have, you know, they're just a conversation basically, but like it still kind of sticks in the craw a little bit because you're like, this is my home, I've grown up here, and you know what I mean? Is that how you felt about it?
Absolutely. I think Irish people are some of the friendliest people in the world. Yes. I love them. Great people. But that being said, my experience growing up was that I never felt that I would truly ever be Irish, if that makes sense. And that has a lot to do with people's attitudes towards you. I remember when we first moved to Castlemartyr in East Cork. I've told the story to you before, Danderz, but my dad looks quite Asian. So his background then is even more culturally diverse, like Chinese father, like West African heritage on his mum's side. So I'm a full mixed bag. But anyways, we moved to Castlemartyr, this small rural Irish town. Around the same time, a new Chinese restaurant was opening up in Castlemartyr. And one day, very soon after we moved, my brother was walking down the street and a grown man in his like 40s or 50s pulled his car over to the side of the road, rolled down the window and asked my brother, when's your old fella's restaurant opening up? Not in a racist way, just genuinely thought there couldn't be any other family here that would open a Chinese restaurant. And also related to Castlemartyr, all the young guys in Castlemartyr when I was young, I would say for about 10 years, they called me Speedy Gonzales. They thought I was Mexican.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I think that's changing a lot now, right? I think
so.
Ireland is
It is
becoming so much more diverse. A funny thing from like when we were children versus now is when we were growing up in school, maybe you'd have a Chinese kid or a kid of African descent, more likely in Ireland, and they would have African accents from their parents. Now, all the kids those age, they're full Cork. Just full Cork accents.
Yeah, no distinction.
Yeah. I think that's more of a reflection, though, of the lack of diversity when we were kids. I remember my mom loves to tell this story that when I was very young and we were just walking through Listowel and like, man, not a very diverse place. Listowel wasn't at the time anyway. Same with Abbeyfield, the two towns that we would have been between. And like there was like a black person across the street. And like I lost my shit. I was like, Mom, look. And I started pointing. Completely just because I had never seen anybody with a darker skin tone before. And like then even maybe 10, 15 years later, when I went to secondary school, there was one black kid in the school. And she left a year later, and there was like the only diversity we had really was Polish students who had like immigrated from Poland, and it's just like as you say, now it's getting a lot more diverse, which is great because you wouldn't have somebody assuming that Dino's family is the family that opens up the Chinese chipper in town. Do you know what I mean? Just because
but we were. That was our restaurant. It was a direct hit. That was the worst part.
Straight to the groin. But I think you both said it like Dino. I like the way you touched on the fact that you're hard pushed to find a more friendly people. You know, like everyone's welcome for the crack, and you know everyone's inclusive in that way. It's just that, you know, historically Irish is Irish, and it was such an isolated island nation for so long. You think of that like Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell film. What's it called?
Banshees of Inisherin.
Banshees of Inisherin, and like. It was that, like, it was just fields and going to the pub for stout. Do you know what I mean? And playing
donkeys,
pulling donkeys, and so I feel like another thing you said, Dino, if we had that experience like Dave had of being like, okay, we're gonna sink ourselves into the Gaelic football and the hurling and going to, you know, mass or whatever, although you probably did a bit of that. But like, I remember George Durant was a kid in our year. He was English as well, but he had an Irish accent and he'd been playing gas since forever. Do you know what I mean? And I felt like that was a bit of a difference because he didn't really feel English, even though his parents were English. He came, like he grew up there to an extent. His formative years were there, but he had a very different experience than we did, basically, because that was something we kind of inadvertently avoided. I guess I'd tell you a bit about mine as well, which is it's kind of similar to Dino's in the way that I never really felt like I fit in as such. Like I was sort of the outsider, and like Dave said before, when you have a British accent, it isn't particularly trendy at that age, or it wasn't, you know, 25 years ago. Like, so you kind of get the piss taken out of you for being a conqueror or whatever. And
we all used to call him Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror, yeah. And so it's all a bit over your head when you're a kid, but you know, even the older folks are saying it, and it's something that even if they're just being kind of friendly, it's still sort of an undercurrent, you know.
Oh yeah.
And for that reason, I feel like maybe always felt like a bit of an outsider, and that's definitely like a part of my sort of personality that I've taken forward with me, is this sort of a lone wolf type thing. And I don't know for sure like if one's informing the other. I mean, they definitely inform each other, but I feel like that might just be also a sort of innate personality trait that I kind of, I like my own company, and I was like that as a kid in England as well. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the two have sort of created this field where I just sort of, I almost struggle to find a tribe. Do you know what I mean? And really, it's you guys, and it's the Middleton College guys and everything else. But still, in that group, I'm me. But I've learned later in life to actually love that. Like I'm not Irish or English. I'm both, and I'm neither, and that's kind of beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
There's a sense of individuality, uniqueness about you. Yeah, exactly.
I also wanted to echo what you guys both said as well, because the more time I spend away from Ireland, the more people pick up on Irishisms in my voice. And like in England, they think I'm Irish. I sound more Irish on this show than I would walking around in England, because my accent kind of molds a bit to my surroundings. But like, and I love that, you know, I love representing, and I feel so deeply like patriotic, but also just sentimental about the country and my upbringing in so many ways. You know, I mean, you can kind of bitch about it like everyone does about their own country, but it's home, and it's always going to be home. You know what I mean? So
I suppose you're living in London, in particular London, but Britain as a whole. Part of Britain's culture is its diversity, right? It's a country built on diversity.
Colonization and fucking raping and pillaging other countries, and then getting pissed off when people come to their home.
But you're dead right about London. It can still be a bit I would use the word like backwards in the sort of regional areas, but that's just it's a question of ignorance. But I don't mean ignorance as a pejorative. It's just something that like Dave was saying, when you haven't seen a black person, you haven't seen a black person. And so like you're more comfortable with what you know. But yeah, so like I think you kind of have to, because when this Brexit result came out, I'm sure everyone listening knows about Brexit and everything, but like you feel ashamed that people voted to leave Europe, and the huge driving factor was immigration. But I think that you kind of have to not maybe understand, but give those people some slack, because they are just scared of what they don't know. It's just the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, and I've said that a lot to people here. I know it's not the case anymore, but definitely when I grew up in Ireland, there was a lot of very like folksy Irish racism, which wasn't so much born out of hate as it was of ignorance and scared of the unknown. And like you said, Dave, maybe some people hadn't seen people who looked like me, who looks like very white, by the way, but I have experienced my fair share of racism in my time. Bouncers on radio saying, "Don't let in the Chinese fella," about me. And I've heard my dad be called the N-word in public in Ireland.
crazy to me to know that you've gone through just different experience like that like does shape you. Do you know what I mean? You can't like,
and it's not just like one thing. We're getting like racial discrimination from all the races, you know. Like the Chinese were kind of black. It's like
I remember there was a terrible one when I had a party and I had loads of friends over, and Timmy, who he's a friend of a friend. I don't even know what he looks like, to be honest. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd, but you were like beating him badly at a beer pong or something like that, and he just like went off the rails with racial slurs, and my friends who brought him to the party were mortified. Like they had to leave the party and take him with them and all this stuff. It was just it was a nightmare, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you've been there when I've been called the N-word.
It's crazy,
which is crazy. If anyone's ever seen me, I look very white, but in Ireland not so much, right? It was at a time when maybe I was the darkest looking person in a 10-kilometer radius, you know?
And it's like we said, it's just what they're used to and what they haven't seen, and you know, just focusing on something. Like if it isn't that, it's ginger or fat or whatever. Like it's just picking something out.
Gross.
You know what I mean? Yeah, ginger and fat. Imagine being ginger and fat.
Let's be very clear though. That is a very small minority of Irish people, and it's obviously changed a lot.
And probably they exist in every culture, every nation. Do you know what I mean? So
and as well, like you guys went through that kind of experience of like your identity kind of, it's not an identity crisis, but you went through that as kids when you guys moved over. And it's important to note, kids can be mean. Kids don't understand what they're saying. They don't understand why they're saying it. And some kids may have heard their parents make one of those folksy Irish racist jokes and then took it, ran with it, brought it to school thinking it was hilarious, but it can be quite damaging. But again, they don't realize what they're saying. And kids are inherently fucking mean, especially in primary school. So like, but to your point, my mother will always say she went through the same thing you guys went through. Obviously not in primary school. She moved over in her like early 20s. But she went through that 20 years before that. So imagine how...
Yeah, even much worse, I'd say.
How like uncultured the Irish people would have been at that time in a small Irish town, and how like ignorant they would have been.
A British accent as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, that would be tough going. Right, well, thank you guys so much. It was really great to hear a little bit more of your narratives. I feel like we are even closer as a gang now.
And I think we might have solved racism.
I think we did. I think we did. You're welcome, Canada.
This is now forevermore WSSAP Day in Canada.
Do you know what I do feel though? I feel like, since aside from the Irishness, I feel like I have a slight bit of Canadian patriotism since moving over here and living here for 3 years. Like I watch a lot of hockey recently, and like when Canada are playing America in the hockey was this summer, last summer, or whatever, I'm sitting there and like I'm humming away at the Canadian national anthem, and I'm like hoping they slap the shit out of Americans. And I like
But anyway, I think we could spin wheels on that one for ages. That was a super interesting segment, but let's move on to the next one. For our next round, a quick Wikipedia search for the term Independence Day highlights no fewer than 229 entries for National Independence Day across the globe, which is more than there are recognized countries, so I'm not sure how that one works. But on that page, you'll see it stated that not all countries mark independence as a national holiday. Many choose to mark other dates of significance instead. You guys will perhaps maybe have observed already that Ireland isn't one of those days that the national holiday is the Independence Day. Our national holiday is St. Patrick's Day, which is a patron saint day. And I want to again just flash up this slide. It's a visual, so maybe Dave, you can take a snap of it for our listeners. But I'm just gonna show you guys a graph of how national holidays are broken down, which is like, I'll show you now in 1 second. So
okay, so green are the bad countries?
Yeah. So pretty well the whole world is covered in green. There's two different shades of green, and one is independence related national day. So that's when your national holiday is related to the Independence Day of the country, when the country won independence. The lighter green is related to a unification or revolution, but you'll see that Canada is a light green, and that's because Canada Day is actually not the day that they got liberty from England, which wasn't for many, many, many years later. But it was originally called Dominion Day because it was when Canada basically came together. It was actually
a unification of provinces. It was like Nova Scotia and three main ones that united.
Spot on. Yeah. So then you've got red, which is other reasons for National Day, and you've got Ireland, which is St. Paddy's Day. We love a drink and a patron saint. You've got Spain. Their national holiday is about bringing Spanish to the rest of the world. So it's like the opposite. Like it's like the spread.
Colonization Day.
Yeah. And then Australia, similarly, Australia Day is recognizing the first permanent European settlements. So it's celebrating again the kind of colonization. And then if you look at Britain, it's just grey.
Yeah,
no
there's
official national day.
Okay. But so that's Britain as a whole. Scotland and Wales have their own individual national holidays, right? If we're considering Scotland and Wales independent countries.
Do Wales have one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure what the national holiday would be in either Wales or Scotland, and to be honest, it's something I should look up.
Scotland definitely has an Independence Day of some sort. Or just for note as well, Ireland also has an Independence Day. We just don't celebrate it. It's January 21st.
That's just not our national holiday.
Yeah,
correct?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly right. Okay, so of the 229 listed national Independence Days around the globe, 51 of them relate to liberation from the rule of United Kingdom.
Jesus.
A further 25 from France, 22 from Spain, 15 from Soviet Union, and 10 from Russia or the Russian SFSR. So again, I being the only representative party descending from the imperial forces of old, I thought I'd give you guys a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get under the hood and ask any questions that you may have always wondered about. So this next segment is called Interview with a Colonial. Ask me anything.
Question 1. Do you have any interest in getting the fuck out of our country anytime soon?
That's so gas considering the mother story you told us. And I'm also not in your country. I'm currently residing in London. So. But no,
are you talking about Danderz individually or
you can ask me anything.
Britain as a whole?
I'm gonna speak on behalf of the colonizers.
He's speaking on behalf of the British.
Okay, so Danderz, when the fuck are you going to leave? Everyone's sick of you.
Yeah, what can I say? We have put a bad taste in people's mouth, you know. Something to be awkward about. Like, you know, if you see, it's something I get frustrated a little bit about. Like, it feels to me, and there are other people who will feel differently to this, but it feels to me like one of the only places in the world that you're not really allowed socially to feel a sense of patriotism by, in terms of like, if you see an Irish flag, it's just good vibes. If you see Spanish flag even, which is also a colonial place, they're, you know, passionate about their country. It's considered lovely. It's a celebration, you know, whereas if you're floating a Union Jack around the place, or even worse, at St. George's Cross, it is a symbol of racism. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's seen as a symbol of oppression, and there's a big movement for changing the flag and all sorts of stuff. So it is something that, like, I wish I had more of a sense of patriotism. Like, I love parts about the Englishness, and obviously Irish, like, I mean, without question, but just speaking on the English thing because it's the colonial thing, like, you know, you'll always hear people say, oh, I love British humor. Like, around here, they'll be like, oh, it's so funny to us and so nuanced in a way that, like, other people just think it's daft because they're not understanding the kind of subtleties, like we always say about ourselves. But but not getting to kind of be prideful of, not prideful, but not getting to be proud of that in other places. Like, if you hear, like, if you're on holiday and you hear an English accent, it's typically someone, like, being rude to a waiter and snapping their fingers, and you just, like, change your accent as much as you can. You speak differently, you soften your voice. It's you know.
Isn't there, like, TV shows called, like, Brits behaving
Brits
badly,
abroad
or
and all
Brits
that.
abroad and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. I mean, that's I guess that's just a genuine part of the culture. Do you know that the
Just
people,
being rude.
being rude, I think,
being
like,
rude, bad teeth, bad food.
Yeah. The opposite side of being embarrassed about it is leaning into it, and a lot of Brits are really staunchly, proudly ignorant and racist and British, and do think that they're better than everyone else, and are generally a bit thick-skulled. Do you know what I mean? So it's a funny one.
I saw a funny, I think it was Am I the Asshole post on Reddit there recently. It was this young lady, 18, female, her boyfriend is British and she's Irish, and her boyfriend's like 21, and he was visiting her in Ireland. I don't know where they were in Ireland, but they were in the pub, and people started singing like, ooh, ah, up the ra, up the ra. And the boyfriend got really upset and left. and subsequently broke up with the girl because
Wow.
he was saying that she and everyone else in the pub were terrorists and they were promoting terrorism by singing that song. And she was asking, was she the asshole for saying that that's not the case?
I think she dodged a bullet, to be honest. Fuck him.
What a
Fuck
langer. What a fucking langer to be offended by that, calling them terrorists when they're the fucking Well, but in history, the only reason the IRA exists is because the British were the aggravators.
Yeah.
Not condoning the behavior of the IRA at any stage, but you know what I mean.
This is full circle to what I was talking about in the beginning. This is the lack of
Absolutely.
education onto the actual history of what happened. Do you know what I mean?
And there is some things like people kind of asked to be offended by. I mean, we it's easy for us to say because we just aren't in a group that are offended, and we just kind of think everyone should just get along. Well, we say that, but like people calling Dino racial slurs earlier was just insane. Like you just can't get your head around it. You know
I
what
can't
mean?
wrap my head around it at all now. You know what I mean?
But 100%. But then Dave, I saw you commented on an Instagram thing that was fed to me recently that was like it was a girl putting a gym bar down really heavily on the platform. And then someone comes up to her and she's like, "That's really distracting. Can you cut that out? Like, can you?" And you were like, "God,
nice
like,
ass."
Yeah, nice ass. yeah. You were like, don't choose to get offended by everything, kind of thing. If you don't be in a gym if you don't want this kind of thing. And like, there is an element of that, but we can count ourselves lucky that we aren't sort of in a group like that. But if you're going into a pub and people are singing pub songs, just get over yourself a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
There's that. And I mean as well, like in 2025, when everybody has the internet at their fingertips, I think ignorance to certain things like that is a choice at a certain point. Do you know what I mean? Like I complain about British school kids not being taught the full history, but I mean, it's not like they don't have the full history on their phones at any point of their lives.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to only be fed the content
It
that
is.
people
Yeah.
want to feed you and that proliferates amongst the group of people that you surround yourself
Yeah.
with, right? It's that
100%.
echo chamber that Danderz was talking about. If you wanted to, you could spend your entire life educating yourself on a singular point of view and never even have to engage with the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Another question, Danderz, just about
Please.
Canada specific. How do British people feel about the Commonwealth countries like Canada? So say if Canada chose to leave the Commonwealth, would British people care at all?
I think no. I think like broad strokes, I can't imagine anybody caring. I think like that whole imperialist sentiment is totally dissolved. Like
Okay.
that's like a parent of parent thing. And there might be some people who are like who feel a little sad watching the news, and I'm talking about older people. But I couldn't imagine a single like Canada is its own nation. New Zealand is its own nation. Obviously, Australia is. You don't. British people don't think of that as a Commonwealth country. That's just this weird vestigial sort of.
It's archaic almost.
It's archaic. No one thinks of it that way. Do you know what I mean? People think, oh, Canada, that's a foreign country and interesting and different from what we have over here. They don't think that's like a British. Territory or anything like that. It doesn't feel like that. No one thinks like that. So I think probably people would celebrate it. You know what I mean?
We still suckle on the teat here, though, of Britain. We really do, and I just don't understand it.
We get a day off, don't
Yeah.
we?
We do get it. Okay, I'm back in. I'm back in.
Yeah.
It's called Murder Day.
That is an interesting thing. It kind of leads me to the thought that like, all of white America, all of white North America, all of white Australia, because you guys were saying everyone earlier, Dave, you were saying if everyone spoke English, it would be blah, blah, blah. But like, that is what happened in that country. It was the spread of England. It became its own culture. But like English people, they moved their stuff over there. I mean, in Australia, it was like the prisoners and in it was plantations in Ireland and then the native people were displaced,
They were just killed,
It's
Danderz. What do you mean displaced? They were just murdered.
killed, displaced and killed. Yeah. But
there's a bit, and I don't know, it's a 30 Rock or something else. Anyways, talking about Australia and about how a lot of places in Australia are named after where people came from in Britain, or like the type of people they were when they were moved over. And then someone says something about, I don't know if that's true about my hometown of Sex Criminal Boat.
Yeah. So I think just before we move on, it's like an interesting thing of cultures continue to sort of plant themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like there are ancient and historic cultures that have survived a long time, and then there are new ones. And you think anyone from America, any culture in America, Irish American, Italian American, or American American, it's all a new culture, but it's still very strong. It's got strong roots and it's its own thing, you know. But we're going to move on to our final round now, which is a game round, and it's a game I like to call Destination O, or Mr. Windependence. Mr. Windependence. Dale. So I'm going to share my screen. I want you guys to minimize your videos because we talked about this technical glitch before, which is basically that I can't share audio on Google Meet without also sharing my my visuals. So I want you guys to avoid seeing that for the sake of this round, which is 10 rounds. So I'm going to play a series of clips of national anthems wherein the subject matter is revolution or independence. There are 10 rounds, a point for the country and a bonus point for the name of the song, if you can guess that. Buzz in with your answer. If you know the answer, fastest buzz wins. If the fastest buzz gets the answer wrong, the other contestant will get an opportunity to respond. The winner can get an extra poutine IOU. Lucky you.
So
boy.
just buzz? Just
Very
buzz?
Bzz.
Bzz.
No, I'd say Dave or Dino just to keep it easy for me, if you please. All right. So I'm going to play a clip. You guys can tell me if you can. To be fair, I'm not expecting you to get more than 2 or 3 of these. So hopefully you have some strong sporting ties in the Olympics or whatever. So we'll run in with the first one.
No idea at all. But Dino,
Any guess?
that is the national anthem of Estonia.
Not a bad guess, but it's wrong. Dave, any shout?
Is it? It's not France. I'm gonna say it's. I don't know. It's Russia. Maybe.
No, but you were much closer. It's Algeria. It's the Algerian national anthem. It's called Kassaman.
Oh, okay.
Relating to their war for independence from France, here are a couple of lyrics you'll find in the song. We have taken the noise of gunpowder as our rhythm and the sound of machine guns as our melody. Oh, France, the day to settle the accounts has come. Prepare yourself. Here is our answer. The verdict, our revolution will return it. So pretty on the nose.
That's a Rihanna song, isn't it?
That is a Rihanna song. It is a Rihanna song. All right, okay. So no points for round 1. Let's see if you got any for round 2. Here we go.
I'm decent with flags. We did flags.
Any guesses?
Is that Luxembourg?
No, not Luxembourg. Dave, any guess?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to listen to the lyrics and seeing if I can pick out any kind of
It's a good idea to do. Huh?
any kind of accents or like even words, but like nah. I'm gonna say guess Germany. Don't think it's Germany.
No points again, guys. It's Cuba, the Cuban national anthem.
No
Lioness,
way.
Written during their revolt against Spain. The song was later adopted as the national anthem of Cuba after the removal of several sensitive stanzas criticizing Spain. This was necessary because Cubans have close family ties with Spain. Besides, several high-ranking Spanish officers had fought on the side of the revolutionists. The original song contained anti-Spanish lyrics like, "Fear not the fierce Iberian, are cowards as every tyrant. Do not resist the angry Cuban, forever their empire fell. Free Cuba! Spain already died."
The Angry Cuban sounds like a really good sandwich.
Or a sex movie.
Or a sex movie. It could be both.
Okay. It could be both. It probably is both, to be fair. Do you guys want to move on to round 3? Are you ready?
Yeah.
I guess. Go on.
Okay. Hopefully I'll have a crack at this one.
Oh,
Dave.
Dino. Oh, fuck.
Dave?
I think David got that one.
That's German.
Heyo! And give you an extra point for the name if you know it. Deutschland.
No
Lied.
idea.
No,
I wasn't gonna say.
What's the name of that new Kanye song?
Kanye song? Yeah.
So it's the German national anthem Deutschland Lied. If I said that right, well, fair play me. The lyrics call for the merging of several German empires to form a single unified German state due to fears that France was planning to invade the uncooperative empires. So 1 point for Dave. Dave's in the lead. All right, on to round 4. Again, hopefully you'll have a pass at this one.
Dave.
Dave?
That's France.
Hey-oh.
Jeez,
Do you know the
Dave's
name?
good at this.
No.
La Marseillaise is commonly called. It has a longer name, but I'm probably also saying that wrong. So this was composed 4 days after France declared war on Austria in 1792. Once outlawed by Napoleon for its revolutionary lyrics, the song calls on French citizens to raise arms against the savage tyrants who want to cut their throats. Then it orders French citizens to kill the tyrants so that their impure
Jesus.
blood will water the French
Oh
fields.
my god.
Love it. Adding
it
that to
sounds
my
good,
Spotify.
though. The fanfare
Yeah.
at the start,
It's a great,
it's
like,
a well-composed
you know,
song.
Yeah, it's an anthem, you know, in every way. So 2 points to Dave, and we're on to round 5. Any guess?
Is that in English?
No, it was not in English.
Okay. Is that the Georgian national anthem?
No, it's a good guess. Dave, any guess?
I'm gonna say Russia again, but like again, it's a guess.
Very close. It's Romania. Romanian
Oh.
national anthem. Deșteaptă-te, Romain. Written for the Roman Revolution of 1848, which sought to overturn the administration imposed by Imperial Russian authorities. So Dave was on the right track there. Okay, and now we're on to, I think, round 6, is it? And we're still 2-0. Good luck with this one.
I'm much better when the game is just if it's a kneel or not a kneel.
Yeah. One round. Okay, on to the next.
We should get points for geographical closeness.
Closeness, yeah. Next time we play, I'll give you a point for geographical closeness. Right now, it's 2-0 to Dave.
Oh, do you know?
Go for it.
I think I heard a word in there, but maybe I didn't. Vietnam.
Hey!
Let's go.
Vietnam. I don't
Good
suppose
shit.
you know the name.
I don't.
I could not read this, but it's Tien Quang Ca or something like that. Apologies, all the Vietnamese in the audience, genuinely. Written, I don't mean to.
That's our largest listening demographic.
Yeah. Now we're down to 0. Written in revolution against the French, the anthem includes lyrics like, "For too long we have swallowed our hatred," and "The path to glory is built by the body of our foes." The National Assembly is considering changing the anthem again, considering the lyrics to be no longer relevant because Vietnam is no longer at war or clamoring for independence. So we are 2-1 now, which is getting exciting. And we're on
I didn't
to-
even realize that Vietnam was colonized by the
Neither
French.
did I. So you see, we're all learning
Wow.
things today. So now we are on to clip 8. This one is I think you should have a chance at this one as well.
David,
Do you know?
Go on, Dave.
I heard Africa. I'm gonna take a wild stab and say Congo.
No, Dino.
Central African Republic.
No, it was South Africa.
Oh, I was going to say that.
But you didn't say that. But
I
I
did
will.
not say
I will
that.
give you guys a crack at the name, and I can tell you it's the easiest name on the list.
South African anthem.
We're two all apiece now. Now it's a party. Okay, we're on to our 9th clip. Now this one is a bit of a speed round.
Dave.
Ah, so quick.
Dave, you went first.
Aran Naveen.
Aran Naveen, the Irish national anthem, written in 1907 by Pater Kearney, a member of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, which wanted Ireland to be separated from the UK. Kearney later co-founded the Irish Volunteers, who used the song as a marching song during the Easter Rising of 1916. So we're 3-2. We're 3-2. Dave, you were saying?
When you alley-ooped it, it was either going to be Iran Naveen or
Yeah,
Rule
yeah,
Britannia.
yeah.
It was going to be one or
And
the
so
other.
you were right to kind of buzz in before you even had a chance, really, because like you said, I gave you a little nugget. And now we're on to another more challenging one to close out the round. So, Dino, this is your only chance to equalize. If we equalize, there is no sudden death. I'll just give you both an extra poutine voucher for the joys of
Okay,
it. So here we go.
And this round, we are getting a point for geographical proximity.
If you say so, bud.
If it's a neighboring country.
All right,
we'll get
I'll
that.
give you one for a neighboring country.
We should get a point if we get the colonizer. There's been 2 rounds where I've guessed the colonizer in the
guess.
Like the sound of it, I recognize, but I think it's from an Irish song. But it's obviously not Irish. Like
Dino's trick earlier would have worked again. The very first word was the right answer.
Oh, I didn't hear it. But anyways, I think that sounds like an Albanian-ass national anthem.
Albanian-ass anthem. Incorrect. Dave, do you want to have a go?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. I'll go with Russia again. I'll throw it out there.
Both way off on this one. It's Indonesia.
Oh,
Indonesia.
okay.
Okay.
I was going to say, Dave, if we were getting a point for a neighboring country, that would have been a very clever tactic.
Yeah. How much of the world is covered by Russia? That's a great shout. All right, so the song called for the creation of a single state as the successor to the several colonies that formed the Dutch East Indies, which was under the control of the Netherlands. In 1945, Indonesia said good riddance to their Dutch colonizers and declared independence, but it actually wasn't granted until 5 years later. From that point forward, Indonesians have celebrated with some exciting traditions. Panjat Pinang is a game played across the country in which citizens scale greased palm tree trunks in an attempt to reach prizes hung from the top. Participants work together to reach the prizes in honor of the collaboration and strength required to gain independence. So that makes Dave the winner. Big round of applause for our new Mr. Windependence. Okay, that is about all we have time for in this episode of National ID. Happy Independence Day, now and ever after to you and yours. We look forward to welcoming you back to the ethereal pursuit of identity next week. And until then, stay independent from tyranny and stay identifiable by your identity. Take care, y'all.
Welcome back to We Should Start a Podcast. Already in progress, we just heard Danderz National ID Pod, the NID Pod. And I don't know about you boys, but I am feeling very patriotic. How do you feel?
Dave?
Yeah, it was a long one. It was a long one, I'll tell you that. But
I
it
nearly
was,
cut out the last round, but I thought
it was fun to chat about.
A fun game round, and I'm glad I did. You know,
We had to finish out on the Indonesian national anthem. That was a must.
What we did learn was that we clearly have very little insight into national anthems from around the world, which is interesting.
It's a tough round. It's a very tough round. You did well.
After our talk about appreciation of other cultures and whatnot, we don't know shit about national anthems.
How often do you listen to national anthems from around the world?
I mean, and they all sound the same, and you did very well. Like 2, 3, I said you get, and you both got 2 or 3. Dave, you came on top, so I thought you did very well. Both of you did very well.
And I believe there's only one national anthem in the world which has no lyrics. Do you boys know what that is?
No, do share.
The national anthem of Spain has no lyrics.
Interesting. Do you know what though? Since you say that, I realize now I didn't read the blurb to the South African national anthem, which was an interesting one because it has 5 different languages in it, like all the major languages represented in South Africa. When again it was kind of bringing them all together. So a very, very, very interesting topic. Anyway, so
what are they?
I can pull it up here. One sec.
Can I take a guess?
Go ahead.
English is one, obviously.
Afrikaans.
Swahili.
Yeah, Swahili.
Is
probably.
that one? Is that?
You're incorrect with Swahili.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
What would you call? This is really a feeder for Dino. I'm sorry, Dave, but Alex Tibshraeny. What would you have called him? What would people have called him?
A prick? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, he was a very nice guy.
We love
nice guy.
Tipsy. We love Tipsy. It's an old film by Michael Caine. Zulu.
Oh, okay.
Xhosa, Zulu, Sesotho, Afrikaans, and English.
And the Italian job.
Yeah. The Italian job, the 6th language, yeah. So what did you guys make of the show?
I think we'll get into that in a second when we critique the National ID Pod, won't we?
Okay, you take those reins back over there.
So as always, guys, we are going to critique the NID Pod using the classic podcast rating system based on 3 criteria. And those criteria are: number 1, the concept or general idea of the show. Number 2 is longevity. Do we think this show has legs to grow? And number 3, and probably most importantly, is pod sauce. Pod sauce is the je ne sais quoi flair or extra spice to the podcast that makes it a winner. Pod sauce could be literally anything you enjoyed from the pod or something you think gave the pod some extra flavor. This week's pod sauce segment is sponsored by Donair sauce.
Yeah. We should have had another day to come up with the sauce, but anyway. No, so it's Canada Day. Donair is Canadian, but Donair is influenced by doner, which we're much more familiar with over in Ireland, which is the classic kebab. Gyros in Greece. So it's a very, very multicultural, very, very infusion and influenced, spread, which is a lot to do with cultural, whatever, spread, like I said.
And you can spread it nicely
Deal
as
with
well.
it.
There's that song as well, isn't there? It's like, Donaire, Donaire. You know that one?
I don't know that one. I was going, Donaire, Donaire.
What national anthem is that?
Is that like Alicia? No Air? Is that Alicia Keys?
No air, yeah, no air, yeah. Tell me how you're supposed to breathe with no Donaire.
You got me out here with the Donaire, so sweet. Tell you how you're gonna eat without meat.
Yeah.
Anyway, after discussing the three criteria, which are concept, longevity, and pod sauce, we are going to give our final rating of this week's pod sauce. Pod sauce. I do this every single week. Every time I'm editing it, I always have to correct this part. This week's podcast, will National ID be a smash hit, or should we trash it? We are going to find out now. Danderz, please take us through the rating segment.
Yes, thank you, sir. David, what did you think of the concept? How did it make you feel?
Well, you know me, I love any podcast where I get to talk about myself, so I really enjoyed the concept. It's always great to talk about Irishness. You kind of guessed from the start that, I'm feeling a lot more patriotic since living in Canada, so it was good to kind of chat about that, especially on this worldwide podcast, so thousands of listeners can hear me. Yeah, God about myself. Yeah, I like the concept, man.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Dino, what did you think of the concept?
I love the concept as well, Danderz. It's something that I actually talk about a lot because I am such a mixed bag of cultures. People are always pretty curious as to what the multitudes contained within, and this is a perfect opportunity to talk about that. A quick aside, quite recently, actually, I was Googling if there was any famous people who were half Irish, half Guyanese, and two very prominent ones popped up, both very famous musicians. Number one, Phil Lynott of Thin Lizzy fame.
Very
Irish Guyanese.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we have a more contemporary musician who's also half Irish, half Guyanese, and it is one Mr. Central C.
No way. Wow. But he's
Wow.
brought us all together again because he's the most Londoner out there, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I absolutely love that that's his heritage.
Yeah.
What did I want to say about that?
Irish mother, Guyanese father like myself. And
Fantastic.
he's not half Irish, but I know another musician from Britain that is half Guyanese, Loyal Carner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And another Brit. He, I knew someone who went to the same school as him. I think it was Brit School or whatever, where they sent the artsy kids. So, and that's super cool. It's something that comes up for me a lot as well. It's kind of part of the everyday. Do you know what I mean? So it was fun to kind of get to flex that with you guys. What about longevity, Dave? Go to you again. Do you think we've got room to grow with this thing?
Yeah, we kind of flogged a dead horse by kind of, if we were to continue talking about our Irishness, our own personal
We'd amuse
heritage.
ourselves anyway,
Yeah. But with that, then you could have guests on the show and people from different cultural backgrounds and stuff, and hear their experiences, which would stretch out the longevity.
Exactly. The intention wasn't just to stick to our own identity, but to, there's so many cultural identities around the world to explore and celebrate. So that was kind of the thinking, that there might be some space to do that. What about Dino? What did you think about longevity?
You said it already. I mean, how many different nations are there in the world that we can hone in on? We could even just do episodes where we focus on one culture.
But also, you've got different cultures within nations. Then, there could be another, and even within cities. So I feel like you could take a runway with that one.
And it'd be cool to explore the little rivalries between countries in different areas. Like we mentioned, a lot of people over here would really truly understand the magnitude of what Britain did to Ireland. But even listening to Stavros Halkias's podcast and him talking about the rivalry between Albania and Greece that we probably didn't know exist, but it's a very real thing for them.
Totally.
And I just love hearing about all those little rivalries between countries. Some of them are more than little, obviously, and are more serious than that. But yeah.
Yeah, completely. And it was fun to learn a bit more. It was fun for me to do the research and fun to talk about it. Even with the flag thing, we had a little blurb about each one. No, not the flag, the anthem thing. We had a little blurb about each one, and we learned a bit more about the world in that sense, I felt,
And speaking of flags, a little trivia again. There's one flag in the world that does not contain the colors red, blue, white. What is that flag? Red, blue, and white. One flag doesn't contain any of those three colors.
Well, obviously, I'm just thinking of random flags, and they all contain one of them because there's only one that doesn't. So just tell us.
Jamaica.
Jamaica, yeah, yellow,
Jamaica,
green,
yeah.
and black. Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Anyways, continue.
So let's do pod sauce. David, what was your pod sauce for the week?
You just kind of touched on it there, man. I enjoyed learning with each national anthem. I enjoyed learning a bit about the country and where the national anthem came from, and mainly always born out of conflicts, which again is something you touched on. It's interesting to learn about. So yeah, my pod sauce was the round with the national anthems. That was super fun to do.
Dave. And Dino, what was your pod sauce for the week?
My pod sauce is Dave's little Ireland arm tattoo. I'm just, quite frankly, relieved that he's left the idea.
He did not say he left it. He did not say he left it
on the shelf for now.
He said the next one.
I still got a full back ready to go.
Your fiance is probably
Canvas is
delighted
there.
with this new little Ireland tattoo as opposed to Scarface.
The full Scarface scene on his back.
Yeah.
And finally, we have. Should we smash? Is it a smash hit or should we smash it? Is it a smash hit or should we trash it? Dave, what's your final result for the week?
Yeah, man, it was fun to do. It's always fun to learn. It's fun to talk about ourselves. It's great. A bit long, but with that being said, enjoyed it big time. So it's a smash hit from Davey.
Hey, it's a smash hit from Davey.
And Dino, smash it or trash it?
Danderz, I don't know if we are the most qualified people to talk about culture in general. We may have struck a few chords with people in a good way and, quite frankly, probably a bad way with some of our opinions on things we talked about today. Keeping all that in mind, I think that it is more than likely going to go down as a smash hit. Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're going to go down in history for being the number one experts on national identity.
We solved it.
We did. We solved racism in the podcast as well, which was great. Never saw that one coming. And with that resounding positive response, National ID is a certifiable smash hit. But at WSSAP, we like to hedge our bets. So until we can get this bad boy into production, we will continue plotting, pitching, and of course podding until we are certain we have the next pod smash
Pretty neat.
on our hands. Any closing words, boys?
Stay independent from tyranny. Stay identifiable by your identity.
Well said, Danderz. Yeah, we love all our nations out there. We love all our cultures. Feel free to hit us up if you're from another culture to come on our show, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. While we're playing Cockkeeper Lizard.
Cockkeeper Lizard. Dave.
Yeah. No real closing statements from Dave. Just like on what I was saying, hold on to your culture, man. It's important. It's very important for your history and your heritage. Hold on to your culture as best you can. Learn a bit of Irish if you're Irish. Learn a bit of your own national language, no matter how diluted it may have been over years of colonization from probably the English.
Or learn a bit of English.
Yeah,
if you don't
it's
understand
important.
any of this podcast because
Learn a bit of English so you can listen to our podcast.
And most importantly, listen to our podcast. I think this is the kind of culture that we want to push forward in future generations. This is going to go into a time capsule. We're going to bury this one under the spire in Dublin, I think, for generations to come. Anyways, guys, and everyone out there listening, you heard it here first. Listen out for National ID coming soon exclusively to the patriotic NID podcast app. If you think we should start the NID pod, please rate, subscribe, and let us know at WSSAP Official on Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. That is WSSAP Official on Instagram and Twitter. We are inches away from a huge idea, and you can tune in again next week to hear us pitch that next hit show. And I have a feeling that one is going to be absolutely cherry. What do you think, boys?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I love the enthusiasm. Until next time, folks, keep your ear to the grindstone. And in these uncertain times, please reflect on the foundational wisdom of George Washington, a founding father and first president of the United States of America. If freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep by a podcast. See you next time.